it. Okay, so I think everyone here from the MassArt side of the house is really excited about this new certificate program, which started in the mid-fall and really sort of officially launched in its full-scale version in January of this year. So we've had classes underway for several months now. To give an overview, all of the classes within the digital media certificate are 7-week long classes. They last around 3 hours and they happen primarily on the weekday evenings, although we have talked about running certain classes on the weekends as necessary. All of the required classes for both sides of the certificate, and we'll talk a little bit about those tracks in just a moment, are offered remotely. And so most of the teaching and discussion and learning is happening on Zoom. It is almost completely synchronous learning that's happening. So you are actually meeting in real time for those classes. And we are offering certain electives that sort of fall under the umbrella of the digital media certificate on campus. And so we really want the program to be accessible to someone who's learning from anywhere, and interested in remote learning and wanting to do things on Zoom. But we also know that we have folks who are local or local-ish and interested in taking some classes on campus. And so in a limited way, we've been offering those as well. You can opt in. It's a very simple process to join the certificate program. And so it really can be as simple as opting in during class registration. And there's no loss to you or no risk to you for opting in. And so if you're registering for a class this summer, for example, a 7-week class, and you're really thinking you might be interested in the program, I encourage you to opt in at that time. Or of course, you have the option to take a class and kind of see how things go and see if it feels like the right fit for you and then opt in later. It is a pretty flexible class and program planning structure. And so we'll talk about these 2 tracks and exemptions from foundational requirements and sort of students coming in with a different level of background and previous education in the areas that we're focused on. And definitely one-on-one feedback from faculty is something that we see as really key to this program and to most programs at MassArt. And so you are absolutely involved in working on projects throughout the classes that are part of the digital media certificate and receiving individualized feedback from your faculty about the work that you're making. And one-on-one advising that happens right now with me is also part of the program. So once you opt in, that's one of the first things that is sort of triggered when you opt into digital media is you'll receive an email from Joe Doucette, followed by a follow-up from me about meeting to talk about your goals and how you think you might want to tailor the program to your needs. And there are 8 classes required to complete the certificate. And so those can be taken one at a time. We're certainly seeing students in the program now who really want to be taking one class, one evening a week, and that's what their work schedule will allow. But we also have students who've opted in this year who are interested in moving at a swifter pace and taking more than one class or as many as they can at a given time. So there's flexibility there as well. In terms of who is the right fit for this program, we do have one track or one sort of side of the program that's focused on lens-based media. And so by that, I'm referring, of course, to digital photography and digital video. And so the structure of the program really does allow people who do not have experience in this area to come in and learn this from the ground up. And so, for example, if you have been really interested in getting into photography, but you haven't quite made that move, this is absolutely a program that would be a fit for you. On the other hand, if you've been making digital photographs and you've been working in that space for quite some time, but now you're interested into moving into video or taking your work to the next level, I think the program's a really good fit for those folks as well. Certainly anyone working in film and animation, digital video, interactive video, etc., is a fit for the program, visual storytellers. And we do see the digital media certificate and other certificates at MassArt as pathways to a degree. And so if that means that you are interested in possibly applying to our BFA programs in film or photography or animation or communication design, it's definitely a program that could get you started and get you some of the foundational skills that would help you to build a portfolio for an application. And the same is true for the graduate program side, whether you're interested in applying to a graduate program here at MassArt or elsewhere. But it's, this is sort of one way to approach it. Certainly, the classes are designed to offer professional development, personal enrichment, and I think there are a lot of ways to come at this program. We are seeing folks who have enrolled in the last several months who are working in marketing. It seems like a space that's really attracting a lot of people who've maybe been in that field for a while and are now moving from sort of one side of the house to the other, doing more creative work, wanting to build those skills or just update skills that have been built over time. The other side of the house, in addition to the lens-based media and photography and video, is really focused on experience design, which, is a really broad umbrella term, especially these days. We think about experience design in relationship to both physical and digital, the physical and the digital, creating an experience, whether that's an exhibition or an application or a website. Experience design is a broad category, and we're interested in kind of teaching all corners of it. And so as you'll begin to see here, there's a lot of overlap in terms of who we think is really a great fit for digital media, from people who are just beginning to think about working in these ways, totally new to the digital space, looking to build those skills from square one, to people who are already doing digital design and looking to move into other corners of that area. And so again, pathway to a degree, and a lot of crossover between the two sides of the house here, lens-based media and experience design. On this side of the house, we're also seeing folks who are more on the fine arts side, makers who are thinking about gallery exhibitions and existing as exhibiting artists in the fine art space, but want to build interactivity, technology, these sort of aspects into their personal art practice. And that's something we're really excited about offering as well. We've got a class running now in called Responsive Objects, where students are actually building things and making them interact through digital technologies. So the interaction is significant. We can certainly accommodate students who come in and are interested in building apps and websites and the experience design side of the house and are less interested in, say, lens-based media. But we're just seeing more and more crossover between these two sort of broad umbrella categories these days, and we're trying to honor that through the way that we approach the program, the flexibility that we build into the program, and most certainly kind of what you're seeing here in the center, which is the elective classes that are being offered and open to either side of the house. So animation is certainly in that area that sort of exists in between the two. All kinds of digital tools kind of straddle these two areas. So we're really excited to be offering classes in interactivity, in coding languages like Max or processing, and now certainly beginning to explore both AI tools and the ethics of AI as this becomes more and more a part of our lives. In terms of actually registering and getting the ball rolling and starting this process, if you're beginning to feel like this is a good fit for you, like we said before, you log in, you look at the classes that we're offering. We have a summer session that's beginning at the end of May. You select a class or two, and at that time, you can opt in if you choose to. You can take two classes before opting in, and those classes will count toward your digital media certificate if you choose the pathway. So you could take a class this summer, take another class in the fall, and then make the decision in the second fall session, for example, that you really feel like it's the right fit for you and you want to officially opt in at that point. There are benefits to opting in. It's an easy process. Like we said, not a lot of risk, but there is the one-on-one advising and planning and really thinking through what you want to do with the new skills, what you hope to gain, what you hope to make over the course of these classes, and what might be the best way to tailor a program to that for you. We also have some software that's accessible for free for students enrolled in classes. And so if you're staying in the certificate and maintaining your enrollment term after term, then you would maintain that uninterrupted access to the Adobe Creative Suite, for example, to the Google Workspace, through your MassArt NetID, et cetera. you are part of a large community of students here. If you come into the certificate program, even people who are taking classes online only, we certainly have significant online programming of visiting artists and scholars and lecturers, et cetera, and events that we're letting people know about both in Boston and beyond. And so you sort of have the access to that community and become a part of it with the certificate program. And then in addition to digital media that happened at the beginning of this year is a capstone portfolio class. And so that's a one-on-one, you and a faculty or a small group class, you and another digital media certificate student working toward your certificate in either lens-based media or experience design. And it really is a focused portfolio building 7 weeks where you're meeting one-on-one or in your small group, capstone group to develop a project, receive frequent feedback that you then take and go in and refine the project. And that is really ideal for, people who are looking to apply for new jobs or people who are looking to apply to degree programs. If you've looked into the program online already, you may have seen these two foundational requirements listed at the outset as the first two classes of the certificate. So I just want to talk briefly about these. Almost everyone I've been talking with by email and online since the program launched is interested in hearing more about whether they would be exempt from these, whether they're the right fit. So there is a digital fluency foundational requirement that's listed first on our course sequence. This class really is for people who either have not been working in the digital space, they're returning to working digitally after working in more tactile ways, or just not spending a lot of time on a computer. Thus far, the students we've seen coming in have all been exempt from this class, but we want to continue to offer it because we really want people to feel comfortable going into these classes. And if you read the description and kind of think that it might be the right fit for you and it might be helpful to have a refresher or sort of get updated information about how to really smoothly navigate the digital spaces that we're all working in here, then absolutely, this is a class that we're now offering in the summer as a way to get started. And I'm happy to talk with you both tonight and beyond about whether or not that feels like it might be a class that you think you need. Digital making is the follow-up to the digital fluency requirement, and this really begins to go deeper into software and the differences among software suites and ways of thinking about digital files and file management. We really look at Adobe in this class because it's free to students, and so we really want people to be taking advantage of absolutely all corners of that software suite while it's available to you for free. And we're also looking at work in that class of artists and designers who are working digitally and kind of thinking big picture about how all of these skills are going into practice in the world right now. This class, Digital Making, is one that every student who's opted in thus far is opting into this class. Even the students with with a really strong foundational skill set who are maybe working in digital marketing are taking this class because it's one that feels like they need it. They need it as a refresher. They need to be thinking in new ways about how they're using digital technologies. This class in the summer of 2024 is being offered in a second summer session that follows right on the heels of the first that runs late May to early July. And this is the course sequence itself, the foundational requirements in the summer. You can absolutely sign up and take those foundational requirements and or one or more of the classes that fall under the core classes for lens-based media or experience design and decide at that point which track of the certificate is the right fit for you. We definitely have folks in the certificate now who really kind of sit somewhere in between. But we're trying to ask people to decide, what is the right side of the house for me? Where do I really want to focus more of my attention? You absolutely can take classes in experience design as a lens-based media certificate student as your elective classes. I come from the lens-based side of the house. I teach in the photography and film video departments at MassArt. I'm an alum of the MFA program here in film and video. And I have been for many years now thinking about the blurring lines, increasingly blurring lines between the photographic medium and video, digital video. And so I'm really firm believer that anyone who wants to work with a camera should be exploring both ways of working, both the still and the moving image. And that's why we have these camera and post-production classes in both photography and editing. But again, there is the possibility for exemption from one side of this. I've been recently talking with a digital photographer with deep experience and roots in that side of the house, but looking to move into moving image. And she's being then most likely exempted from the two first photography classes. So lots of ways to approach this. And if you are exempt from the first foundational requirement or both, then those just become slots that get filled with elective classes, which can be a wide range of things. Animation, a really specific photography or video class, a coding class, etc., an interactivity class or a sculptural class that uses digital technology. Let's see. I think that's about it. I am happy to go back and talk in more